Welcome to Sideline Judgement. My name is Sergio.
My name is Tyler.
And today, Tyler, it is time for Mock Draft 4.0. We are going to be running through our final two-person mock draft. It's going to be you and me here. Next week, we're going to do our final mock draft before the draft, the NFL draft, I should say. We will be having that go up on the day of the draft, and that will include you, myself, and a friend of the pod, Michael Phillips. So a three-person mock draft for the final one. That's what's going to happen next week. But you are listening to this on Friday, which means you are wanting to get into our two-person mock draft. So, Tyler, there's no quick hits today. We're just going to give the people what they want. We're going to go straight into this mock draft. All right. So, I have odd picks this week. You have the even picks. Let us begin. With the first pick, I hold the power for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And as expected, I will be taking Trevor Lawrence.
Unoriginal. Well, yeah, lacks creativity.
Listen.
It's still the right pick.
Some would say that Trevor Lawrence is not the best quarterback in this draft. Well, those people would be wrong, Tyler. I definitely feel very comfortable with this. And given that Trevor Lawrence literally said, and I quote, "We," meaning him and his wife, "are very excited to be joining the Jacksonville community soon." I think this is pretty sure. I think it's pretty sure that this is going to be the
kept secret. The worst kept secret in the NFL is the Jacksonville Jaguars are taking Trevor Lawrence. Like literally, they have not made a single attempt to hide it. They made less than 0 attempts to hide it.
And I don't think they should have. It doesn't matter. What's great is the Jacksonville community donating. What was it, like $30,000 worth of stuff to his charity?
It was several $1,000s.
It was a lot.
They bought him a couple items for his wedding registry, and then they just donated the rest to charity.
He was like, "I'm gonna keep this $300 toaster, though."
You damn Tyler, right. I mean, look, you better keep that toaster.
You have pick number 2, my friend.
All right. Now, the Jets are going to pick Zach Wilson. Now, I'm not saying this is what they should do, and I'm not saying this is what I would do. But we've reached the point in the draft cycle with news where, like, we start to know a couple things, just very few. And let's be honest, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
So as much as I don't if I were here, I wouldn't make this pick. Unfortunately, I don't think we can do that right now because the Jets are picking Zach Wilson. And I don't think he's bad. I would pick Justin Fields. I don't think that he is barred. I don't think Zach Wilson is barred from being a successful NFL quarterback because he's a Mormon. But as I know some people do. His Chipotle order does concern me. But
okay, I need to pause right here, though. I love you. You are my best friend. I need this Chipotle slander to just end. Simply because
I like Chipotle. Like,
do you really though? Because it's
fine.
Not like, okay, so you don't like Chipotle if you go, it's fine.
I don't hate it.
You prefer Moe's.
Yes, I do.
I disagree.
I mean, Moe's queso, for one, way better.
So here's the thing. Your first go-to was queso. Mine is the rice. I cannot stand Moe's rice.
That's fair.
It is bad. It is bad rice, number 1. Number 2, I am very picky with my rice because my mother and my grandmother made fantastic rice growing up, to the point where I usually do not eat rice outside of the house, and Chipotle is my exception.
Okay, that's high praise.
And that's what I'm saying. So the Chipotle slander, we got to pump the brakes a little bit, my friend.
See, I'm in a weird situation where, like, I get what you're saying, and I'm not like a huge, like, I'm not as much of a rice buff. And that's okay. I mean, because it's like when my abuela and grandpa make the arroz con pollo a la charrera, like that rice, they kind of make it in a weird way that is like has so far never been replicated. So I've just kind of separated that it's just not going to taste the same. And
technically, that's not rice. That's like a special dish for you.
I know, but like the rice, the way they make it in that
that's what
dish
I'm saying.
Is, like,
Right.
So, but anyway, hey, look, I hear what you're saying, but Chipotle doesn't have a stack.
Okay,
Chipotle,
the stacks do be slapping. I will
see,
say
this is
that.
the I like Moe's stacks so much is the thing like that. That's what I get when I go to Moe's, and Chipotle doesn't have that.
I
Like
respect it.
Chipotle burritos are amazing, but I would rather go to Moe's.
Okay. And all that to say, Zach Wilson, your bowl is trash.
Your bowl is trash. So have fun up there in New York. All right, pick three.
All right,
Moving on.
pick three. So again, I also agree
This
with you.
is the most important pick of the draft.
I know. Okay, so just to reiterate, and so we're on the same page, San Francisco is sitting at pick three. Miami originally held that pick via the Houston Texans. San Francisco traded with Miami. Miami went back to 12, and then Miami moved back up to 6, which we'll talk about later. So sitting here are the 49ers. You don't give up all of the capital they gave up, which was 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick. You don't give up that capital to take a wide receiver. You don't give up that capital to take an edge rusher. You give up that capital to take a quarterback. And so that's leading us to believe that with Jimmy Garoppolo's health concerns, with the fact that Kyle Shanahan kind of has said without really saying it that he's not the biggest fan of Jimmy G long term. I believe that they can win. I believe he thinks that they can win in the short term, but I think he's thinking long term. He wants to be there for a while. The team is relatively built.
Jimmy Garoppolo's had one healthy season.
Exactly.
And they went to a Super Bowl. And that's amazing. However,
and
you got
to fantastic.
But he's played there for like 4 years and he's only had one healthy season. And like that seems he is more often injured than he is healthy. So,
yeah, and that's a problem for your starting quarterback. So I'm going to approach that. I'm going to take a quarterback here, but I'm going to be 100% honest. I am debating between Justin Fields and Trey Lance, not because of who I think is better. I personally, like you, am in the Justin Fields as QB2 camp. But I think that are a bit more enamored with some of the stuff that Trey Lance brings to the table. And I think if their belief is truly to work this quarterback in after a year of Jimmy Garoppolo, which seems to be the case, they're kind of taking that Kansas City Chiefs, Pat Mahomes, Alex Smith territory, that case. I think I'm going to have to go with Trey Lance at pick 3 simply for that reason alone. Okay? So if we're going to recap here, the order of quarterbacks taken are, in Tyler and I's view, Trevor Lawrence is QB1, he goes 1. We think Zach Wilson is QB3 or 4, depending, right?
Yeah, it depends on your preference, but I would agree.
Okay, so we got that, and then after that, I have just Trey Lance going, which would mean that he's, in my opinion, QB3. So weird situation, weird scenario. But yeah, interesting take here. Now, this sets up an interesting situation for the Falcons, right, Tyler?
Correct. I think both of those are the good picks because I don't think that the 49ers are taking Mac Jones. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I'm going to say it. I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to be old man who yells at cloud. I don't know what the media's fascination is with Mac Jones because I just don't see it personally.
You mean McCorkle Jones? Did you know that's his middle name?
Yeah, I did know.
McCorkle.
He went to the Bulls school, which is like my high school's biggest rival, so I obviously knew that because I hate him. I don't actually hate you, Mac Jones, but I don't. I'm just glad that Jacksonville doesn't even. I'm glad that Jacksonville's not even a part of all this drama, like because the articles would be written that were just like bring Mac Jones home.
Yeah.
Pair him up with Alabama. I don't know. But anyway, so this sets up an interesting situation for the Falcons. I don't think that the Trey Lance pick is a bad one. Again, I would pick Justin Fields, but like Trey Lance has got a lot of potential. And you're going into a situation where you don't have to play right away. So that's probably good for them. Falcons, pick number 4. Justin Fields has fallen to them. In my mind, from where I have it, this is the only quarterback that if it falls to Atlanta, they might take.
Really? You don't,
in my opinion.
Do you believe those reports that Atlanta really likes Trey Lance, even though in this mock it would be impossible for them to take him? But do you believe that?
I believe that, but I don't know. I just get the feeling, and maybe this might not be really founded in anything, but like I get the feeling that they like Trey Lance, but I don't know if they like him enough to take him, considering Matt Ryan still has, I think, a couple of good years left.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just because, like, I think that Justin Fields, and I just bashed this, and but this might be a reason that it happens. Justin Fields is a Georgia guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's a state of Georgia kid. He's really good,
Very good.
and you can kind of speed up your situation with Matt Ryan. And again, it's my thing with the Falcons where I'm just like, when is the next time you're going to be picking this high?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you're in such a good roster situation. Like, I mean, to be honest, the Falcons aren't in the best roster situation, but the next time you pick this high, likelihood is it'd be worse.
Yeah.
You know, you still have Julio Jones and Matt Ryan and Calvin Ridley, you know, and you could take Kyle Pitts here, but I'm going to have him take Justin Fields.
Okay. So why Fields instead of Pitts? Because Pitts, again, is another one of those, wow, this guy, you're not going to be picking this high theoretically for a long time because of who you have on the roster. Why Fields instead of Pitts?
Well, I feel like because if you look at the main components of their, and I don't know, Arthur Smith does run like a tight end kind of heavy offense, so that would be helpful. And he is a +1, but it is also a matter of maybe looking at the trajectory of your players. Matt Ryan's not got that much time left. I think Julio Jones has more time than Matt Ryan does. So like, it's a positional thing. Like, I think Kyle Pitts is fully capable of becoming a Hall of Famer, just like a lot of high end players do when they enter the league at this time. But
right.
I feel like Justin Fields is a quarterback, and that matters more.
Yeah, okay.
You're in a position to take one that I think is really good, and I don't think you should. And I'm not convinced that they should pass on him. If they take Kyle Pitts, that is not a bad pick either.
Mm-hmm.
But for what we're doing right now, I'm going to take Justin Fields for the Falcons. And Falcons fans can be mad at me. I don't know why you would be, but that's just me.
I like the pick, and selfishly as a Dolphin fan, if the board goes out like this, 4 quarterbacks in the first 4 picks, I'm ecstatic because that means that I get one of either Jamar Chase or Kyle Pitts, and I'm happy with either one.
Nah, so Bengals are taking both with the next pick.
Yeah, right. But as a Dolphin fan, I'm going to start celebrating here. If I'm a Dolphin fan, I start celebrating. If the board goes 4 quarterbacks and 4 picks.
Because it's going 3 QBs and 3 picks.
I think it's 3 QBs. The question is, what does Atlanta do?
Yeah.
Because if Atlanta does take Pitts, then moving on to pick 5, which is the Bengals, there's the possibility of let's reunite Joe Burrow with Jamar Chase, and then the Dolphins are left with, in terms of wide receiver weapons, Waddle and Smith, which is great. They're both good, but I think you can still get those a few picks further back, or one of those, and you can still get more capital. But I would much rather have Jamar Chase or Kyle Pitts in that sense. So I, though, hold the power for the Bengals, which means I'm going to do the smart thing. Did you see what Joe Burrow said today?
Yes. What are you talking about, the Instagram caption?
Yes, I did. Yes.
It went something along the lines of, I'm paraphrasing here, but it's just like, scars meant that, like, okay, what is it? Scars meant I did, he's like, a life with no scars mean I did nothing worth, like, fighting for or fought for nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm totally butchered that. But it's a picture of him in the throne, and he's got, like, the ACL tear surgery scar, like, very prominently showing on his knee.
Yes, which, great, because that means he's rehabbing and coming back. But then he also came out and said, like, officially to someone, I trust the Bengals to do what's best for the entire organization. So this is me, 2 things, right? We can decipher the Instagram post as being he is saying that he's cool with having a bad offensive line. If I didn't suffer, I didn't live a full life, I don't regret a single thing, and is pushing for Jamar Chase because he wants his boy and his weapon. Or it's, yo, look at what happened to me without an offensive line. Go get me a tackle. Those are the 2 ways we can go with it. And if I am the Bengals, rather than getting, listen, we talk about how wide receivers are becoming more and more available is the word I want to use, I think. More and more available as the years go on.
There are more good wide receivers coming out of college every year.
Yes, exactly. So I think that they can get weapons that are serviceable for him not only later in this particular draft, but also in years to come. Franchise left tackles do not come by every day.
Yeah.
And for that reason, we have been talking about Penei Sewell for months. It's similar to Justin Fields, right? Like, what in the world happened that all of a sudden these players that we thought were top 3 players are all of a sudden dropping all the way down? We had conversations of Penei Sewell being the number 1 overall pick before Burrow,
Yeah, I can tell you what happened.
What?
People got bored.
Yeah.
People got bored.
Yep.
That is the whole reason.
And honestly, good for the Bengals because they don't have to go up to get their franchise left tackle.
Yeah.
Penei Sewell to the Bengals, and not just because I'm a Dolphin fan and want the option of Jamar Chase and Pitts, but I genuinely I genuinely he says as he yawns at me. I genuinely
I've heard this song before.
But it's true. I genuinely believe that this is the best choice for the Bengals. If they go a different direction, that's fine. I will be perfectly comfortable with all of the mock drafts. I think along with the Trevor Lawrence pick, this has been our most consistent pick, like Penei Sewell to the Bengals.
I just don't see them picking anyone else. I really don't.
People
are trying to make it happen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, stop trying to make Jamar Chase to the Bengals happen.
Yeah, right. So, Tyler, you have the fate of my franchise in your hand. What are you going to do at 6?
All right, let's scroll a little bit down for just scroll. All right, Baron Browning. Just kidding.
I'll kill you.
I think that there's 2 options here that you have to realistically consider if you're the Dolphins. Move back up into the top 10 because you want high-level playmaker.
Correct.
You have Kyle Pitts at your disposal. You have Jamar Chase. So it's basically, do you want – that's a tough decision just because I like Mike Gesicki, and I think having a number 1 wide receiver is more valuable than having a number 1 tight end, no matter how good that tight end is.
So what if I just
Travis
told
Kelce
you
exists?
And what if I just told you that Kyle Pitts is a receiver?
Well, I think that's a little like push up the glasses that I totally have up on my nose. That is a little, that's a little short-sighted and a little, simplistic for how, detailed of, an asset Kyle Pitts is at the tight end position. But then again, you're right.
But then again, it's true.
I feel like you're definitely trying to pull me towards Kyle Pitts.
No, listen, I will genuinely be okay with either pick. I am leaning Kyle Pitts because I have these dreams of Mike Gesicki, Kyle Pitts, 2 tight end system, Tua with the intense accuracy and the ability to get the ball out of his hand faster than anyone in the NFL. That's an actual fact. When you look at the numbers from last year, he has the fastest release of any quarterback in the league.
I'll take your word for it.
And also, Kyle Pitts is a Gator, and I would love to spend another $110 on another jersey. like selfishly, how much fun would it be?
I'm going to save you some money.
Okay. I'm not buying a Jamar Chase jersey.
Jamar Chase.
Okay, all right. I respect it.
That's okay.
I'm happy with it. I'm okay with that. Yet.
Look, exactly. I think Kyle Pitts would be a good pick too, but I think you need a number 1 wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
And you need a number 1 wide receiver, and that's what he can be for you.
Okay.
So,
all right.
That's what I'm taking.
Fine with me. I like it. Again, be celebrating either way. I'm not buying the jersey simply because he's not a Gator. But I definitely will be cracking open what's pick 6, right? So by that time, it'll be about an hour and a half into the broadcast. So that means so that means I'll be having my 4th or 5th Truly at the time. So I'll be cracking another one to be open. Pick 7 is the Detroit Lions. Tyler, I'm going to throw you a curveball.
Oh, hit me with it.
This is a team that is clearly building, right? This is a team that traded away Matt Stafford, got back first-round picks and Jared Goff in return. I don't think they want to get someone like Waddle or Smith because then they would be actively trying to do better for Jared Goff, and I'm pretty sure they want that contract to run out so they can then get a big quarterback.
Yeah.
For the future, especially with the cap hit that he has. But you know what doesn't come every day, Tyler?
What, Sergio?
A franchise left tackle.
Oh.
And you know who's a Dan Campbell kind of guy?
No, boy.
Rashawn Slater.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm going to go with Rashawn Slater because not only
The
is he
Midwestern boy.
a big Midwestern boy, big O lineman, I think that this guy can be set up for the future. I think this is a really good offensive line class, and I think it's justified for taking a second one here in the top 10. This isn't something that we've done before, but I don't know, man. I have a good feeling, and I think if the Lions won't trade back or anything like that, then I think it's a good. I think it's a good situation for them, and I think getting an offensive tackle that would be there for a while. It's very much like when the Colts took Quentin Nelson, where it's like, listen, we know that we may not have the quarterback right now, and this and that, whatever, and we may not be in the right position, but let's go ahead and shore up this important offensive line position for the next 12 years, and I think that's what's going to happen. I'm so sorry. That was my Apple Watch and Siri trying to join on the pod. So, Siri, that was not cleared by a Sideline Judgement legal. So, Rashawn Slater, pick 7 to the Lions.
Okay. I actually like it.
Thank you.
All right, let's look over at Carolina Panthers. They're here. Just took Rashawn Slater. Darn it to heck for them. Also, they just traded for Sam Darnold. Why? I don't know, to be honest with you. So they're not picking a quarterback. I don't understand getting Sam Darnold. We, in the words of Ben Solak from Twitter, we as a nation need to move on from Sam Darnold. Look, he was great in one Rose Bowl. It was a great Rose Bowl.
A fantastic Rose Bowl.
Fantastic Rose Bowl. Trace McSorley and him and Saquon Barkley and Chris Godwin are going back and forth and
classic
game. We've had, because of it, we've never heard Colin Cowherd hasn't shut up about him for the last several years.
Okay, never mind. I'm going to keep my mouth shut with Colin Cowherd. Nope, not getting in trouble.
Okay.
Not going to get in trouble.
Yep, Colin Cowherd is still on the train, from my understanding. But he was in a terrible situation with the Jets, but let's be honest, he was bad. Let's be honest, he was bad. And
he was.
I don't think this was the right decision, but if you're gonna add Sam Darnold to a room with Teddy Bridgewater, you need a weapon, and guess what? The best weapon in the draft just fell to you with Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
So the Panthers are taking Kyle Pitts. Now they're missing a tight end because Jacksonville signed somebody Manhurst is his last name. Who's that?
Petty Tyler is the best Tyler.
We didn't get a single good tight end.
Oh, man.
Sure, he's a fine man, Mr. Manhurst. I don't actually know your first name.
Maybe Urban's got his eye on Pat Fryermuir in the second round.
Yeah, but I'm almost just trade up and get Kyle Pitts. Just trade up.
I'm not mad about that either.
If you trade up, give up a couple picks, you get Kyle Pitts and Trevor Lawrence. It's a successful draft.
Yeah, you could not pick anything else after that, and you'd be fine.
Yeah, it's a successful draft.
Okay, I think in a realistic world, if the Dolphins, if Pitts slips past the Dolphins,
okay,
I think someone trades up with Detroit at 7, and Detroit capitalizes on that and gets.
That would be smart by them.
That would be smart. That's what I would anticipate happening if Pitts falls past 6. Just to put it out there. All right. Next up, we have pick numero 9. That is 9. Sorry, not 9. That is.
I was about to say, what was that? You've been in Boston way too long.
Pick number 9. The Denver Broncos. So the Denver Broncos, their team needs, you got linebacker, cornerback, quarterback, and offensive tackle. So when you look at offensive tackle, both Penei Sewell and Rashawn Slater, they're gone. The top cornerbacks in the class are on here, Patrick Surtain and J.C. Horn. The top linebackers are also here. It hasn't been a single linebacker taken. Micah Parsons is on the board. And then quarterbacks, you have McCorkle, a.k.a. Mac Jones, is on the board. But I would be going against my very how do I put this? I would be betraying myself if I allowed for Mac Jones to go in the top 10 in a Sideline Judgement mock draft. So I'm not doing that.
Don't do that.
Quarterback's out of the question. They're better
I'll
off
veto
just.
that crap.
Well, you do have 50% of the company, so yeah. Quarterback is out of the question. They're better off going with Drew Lock for another year, trying to get a quarterback next year. Linebacker, there seem to be character issue reports with Micah Parsons, and as good as he is, I have a feeling that we're going to see a Laramie Tunsil-esque slip for Micah Parsons. We always have one player in the green room that they just keep going back to, and it's like, what's happening? What are the teams thinking? And we're going to get Todd McShay, we're going to get Adam Schefter and Mel Kiper, all of these people out there reporting, well, it seems he has character issues at Penn State. I think it's important to note that Micah Parsons was one of the players that was involved in that bullying scandal. I don't want to call it scandal because it didn't break up to that proportions, but definitely incident, a negative bullying incident where he quote unquote said to a player, quote unquote, I'm going to Sandusky you, which I don't need to go into details as to why that is horrific to say and hear. But I'm not going to go ahead and reward this man with a top 10 pick bonus structure payout, at least not on the Sideline Judgement draft, mock drafts. So with that being said, our options here look to be cornerback. And we're going between Patrick Surtain II or J.C. Horn. And as much as I love Patrick Surtain II, American Heritage Plantation product, South Florida, Broward County, 954 born and raised. His dad is Miami Dolphins legend Patrick Surtain. I think I like J.C. Horn a bit more.
Should have taken him at number 6.
J.C. Horn?
No, you should have taken Patrick Surtain at number 6.
Just because of all the hype?
He's a Dolphins legend.
His dad is a Dolphins legend, let's be clear. Give me J.C. Horn.
But
right. Give me J.C. Horn to
really?
Denver Broncos.
J.C. Horn is going to be cornerback 1 in this draft class.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I think so.
That is a take.
I'm full of takes today, baby.
But
I picked Rashawn Slater at 7, J.C. Horn at 9, Trey Lance at 3. Come on, bro. I'm about it. I came for the chaos.
Well,
what are you talking about?
Well, Dallas loves what you're doing, and Dallas is going to take Patrick Surtain second.
So let me ask you a question.
Because Dallas is yeah.
If this draft goes the opposite, and if the Broncos take Patrick Surtain, do you think the Cowboys take J.C. Horn?
I don't necessarily. I don't think so.
Okay.
But then again, it depends because they're switching to a new defense under Dan Quinn, and I don't know what defense Dan Quinn wants to run because J.C. Horn's such a Will Muschamp press man grabby corner, and that's going to be useful for certain defenses. And I don't know if the Cowboys are going to be that kind of defense. Okay. I feel Patrick Surtain's a little bit more versatile at the moment. J.C. Horn has a thing that he is better at than him.
Right.
J.C. Horn is better at this one type of coverage. Patrick Surtain is at all of his other coverages. But I think Patrick Surtain is better at everything than J.C. Horn is better at everything. So it's really just going to be about value.
Okay.
So I don't know. Maybe. But I think that they would likely, especially with Dan Quinn, they would likely view Patrick Surtain as quarterback 1 for them.
It's splitting hairs in my opinion, between the two of them. I just think, I don't know. I just think that someone like J.C. Horn is a bit more. I don't know. When I watch the tape, and I have for the past few, I have been watching the tape for the past few weeks. I don't know. He seems a bit more professional in terms of the way he approaches each play and the way that his coverage adapts. So for that reason, I went J.C. Horn, but that's okay because at pick, what are we at 11? We have the New York Football Giants. They are with the speed of Jaden Waddle. They are running to the podium to take him. This is literally a dream come true for the Giants. Even though they went out and they signed Kenny Golladay to a massive contract, they are in the perfect
Kenny Golladay is the number 1 there, but Jalen Waddle slots right in to be your speed option.
Absolutely. Not only does it slide in to be the speed option, but it's definitely a double down on. All right, we're going to see if Danny Dimes can actually be Danny Dimes and it's not just
I cannot
a bad
wait for
quarterback.
Cannot wait for him to overthrow Jalen Waddle so many times.
How do you overthrow Jalen Waddle? That's the real
Hey, Bo
question.
Nix. Bo Nix managed to overthrow Anthony Schwartz several times. Like,
A bad Bo Nix. Remember, there's two Bo Nix. There's good Bo Nix and bad Bo Nix because he is the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde of college football. All right.
yeah, can't wait for the Giants to draft him in a year.
Yeah. Right.
That'd be
All
funny.
right, Ned. That would be really funny.
All right. Next up, it's the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. I am so tempted because their new head coach came out today and said that he won't give the starting quarterback job to Jalen Waddle. It'd be a competition in camp.
Stop it.
I'm so tempted
Listen, let me
to go
pause
with
there,
Mac
please.
Jones right here.
I have 3 Eagles fans in my life. My friend Mo, which you know.
They don't listen to this podcast.
Our friend Michael, which you know, and my friend Jared up here, you've yet to meet, but you will one day. I don't think I can handle.
You didn't even talk about Steven.
I didn't even mention Steven. I'm so sorry. I love you, dude. Seriously, that's 4. I can't handle the 4 of them in misery if the Eagles are dumb enough to draft Mac Jones at 12.
Well, okay, they're certainly capable of such decision making.
Oh, I know. I won't put it past Howie Roseman.
Which is why I'm seriously considering it. Also, I want to do it so bad, but I'm not going to do that, even though I really want to. They need a chain mover. They need a wide receiver because they put it off for literal years.
Well, no, they didn't put it off. They just made mistakes.
Sorry, yeah, they put it off for multiple years, and then they drafted Jalen Reagor. And then the Vikings literally didn't have to say a word, but they knew they were picking Justin Jefferson.
That video still lives rent free in my head.
Yeah, like they just knew. They were just like, oh, I mean, like, it's like you know that in the previous thing they're like, well, the Eagles are probably going to take Justin Jefferson. Damn it, we wanted to take him. Oh well, like, and then that doesn't happen. They're like, hey. But the coach just says, hey, buddy. And the GM's just like, nah, I already sent it.
Yeah. It's already in. Don't worry. Already on it. And they're laughing.
Yeah. They're picking Devontae Smith.
All 166 pounds of Devontae Smith.
Now, I'm so torn on Devontae Smith because, like, as a prospect and, like, what I think of him. Because, like, he dominated so hard in college. And the last thing I want to do is doubt him. But I'm like, 166 pounds. Like, it's just, it is a size that has not, like, ever before worked in the NFL level. Like, really? Yeah. And Devontae Smith's not going to be, at his best, he's not going to be what he was in college. Like, that's just not going to happen. Like, right. But I'm interested. Like, I'm just not so sold that he's a sure thing. But you need it. Eagles, you need more wide receiver help. You do. So that's what you're taking.
And I think one thing to note is, like you said, I think we've seen the peak of Devontae Smith. This Heisman Trophy winning season, I think, is the peak. I think that his, like, average of what he'll be like for his career is definitely very high, and he can be a very, very good player in this league. But I think the peak was this past season at Alabama, and I don't know. I'm a little bit I'm not so much scared of, oh, he's a smaller receiver, this and that, whatever. But when the official reports came in today that he was 166 pounds, I haven't weighed 166 pounds, Tyler, since I was like a junior in high school. Like, that's concerning. Like, 166 is genuinely concerning. I really do. That really was concerning for me today. But I think the upside is so much that I don't think he gets past Philly at 12, simply because I don't think Waddle gets past the Giants at 11. So then that way,
you got to take that chance, because if he's anything like he was in college, you got to take that chance. Like, and
if he's half as good as he was in college,
it cannot work out. But it cannot work out and still have been the right choice.
I agree.
But, like, this happens a lot. We forget about it in the draft, but, like, it can end up being a bad pick, but still have been the right choice. Like,
that's a great way
because of what you know at the time. Yeah. Like, yeah, that's basically how I feel.
Okay.
So I think they've got to make that choice if that's what comes up.
Yeah. All right. So next up, we have at pick 13 the LA Chargers. Number one, the team needs here, according to the Draft Network, we have tackle, edge, and safety as the top 3 needs. I think they are comfortable with going with an offensive tackle that's going to be in the later rounds, simply because after those top 2 guys, there seems to be a little bit of a drop off. No disrespect to Christian Darrisaw. I think he's a top tier talent, but I think given some of their needs and on the defensive end, I think I'm going to go with Jalen Phillips for Miami here because I
Really?
think, yeah, this is a guy that is shooting up draft boards. Before the draft, before the year, we were talking about Gregory Rousseau as being a potential top 10 pick, and Jalen Phillips, who was the UCLA transfer, came in and had a phenomenal season. And his measurables and everything coming out from interviews and stuff like that, the reports are that he's shooting up draft boards and everything. And I think that this is one of those moments where the kind of draft season hype comes into play, both in terms of hyping up Phillips and also knocking down on Micah Parsons. This is the pick. This is the pick that begins the conversation of, okay, what's going on with Micah Parsons? You know what I mean? What's the situation? Blah, 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 blah. So I think because of the way it's happening, again, this may not be the smart pick or whatever. I just feel like this is where they might go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
So I'm gonna go with Jalen Phillips here at 13.
Okay. Well, in that case, the Vikings are up. They got a lot of needs on the line at edge and in all of the tackle spots and in the line spots. And you know what they also need?
What do they need?
You know, maybe not less of a need, but maybe more of a want.
Are you?
It has been often said that Mac Jones is just Kirk Cousins. So it's very possible they could go with that here. I hope you know that for the rest of this mock draft, every pick that I get, I'm just going to find a way to link them to Mac Jones, and we'll see if I take them. Like, there's no way the Vikings are taking Mac Jones, but it would fit with their MO. They like Kirk Cousins. I think they certainly are stuck with him. So in that case, if you're stuck with Kirk Cousins, you need some help on your line.
Yeah.
And draft Mac Jones to play tackle. I'm kidding.
McCorkle.
No, we're going to draft
McCorkle.
I'm going to draft Elijah Vera Tucker out of USC interior offensive line.
Okay.
For the
Great
Vikings.
pick. Great pick. I think that's a smart pick for the Vikings. For sure. I really do. Good pick. This is fantastic because in 2 years, he is going to do wonders at the guard position for future Minnesota Vikings quarterback Sam Howell. It's going to be fantastic to see that happen. So
that's ultimately the reason they didn't end up picking Mac Jones, is because they're like, no, we see the future. Like,
absolutely.
He'll tank us too quickly. We need we got to stick with Kirk because he'll get us where we need to be. Like,
it's a gradual process with Kirk. Which means at 15 we have the Patriots. I'm ending this right now. This bit is not going on, Tyler.
No! Stop! Let me live.
Tyler, what is more Bill Belichick than a tall, not that mobile quarterback who can throw the ball really deep but has a lot of questions about other things?
And has 2 first names?
And has 2 first names.
Mac and Jones, Tom and Brady.
There you go.
Mac Jones is Tom Brady 2.0 confirmed.
Now Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time in terms of results in Super Bowls. But I think that
what a disclaimer.
Well, I just
in terms of results in Super Bowls.
I mean, have you seen Aaron Rodgers throw a football? Because that
it's just like it's a funny disclaimer to be like, he's the greatest quarterback of all time in terms of, the 2 things that matter the most.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Give me Mac Jones to the Patriots. Put him in my division because for the next 3-4 years, it'll be fantastic because my division quarterbacks will consist of Tua Tagovailoa, Josh Allen, Zach Wilson, 3 very mobile quarterbacks that can move and throw the ball whenever they can. And then Mac Jones just sitting there, taking hit after hit after hit. So give me Mac Jones.
I can't wait for the Patriots to win like 1 time, and for the Mac Jones is better than Tua thing to like become a thing in this world. Like,
but that's the thing though. There's already Tua disrespect out there, so it's only going to be right because what happens is we're going to get Jamar Chase or Kyle Pitts, and he's going to take a normal progression, and then all of a sudden it's going to be like, well, yeah, if I had if I had Will Fuller and Kyle Pitts or Jamar Chase and Mike Gesicki and a good offensive line, I too would be that good. And it's like, really? Would you? Would you? Because last year it was all about the slander, even though he had literally zero weapon. All right, I'm going off
Yeah.
on a tangent. I can't
Also,
do that.
you were describing the exact way that Mac Jones was successful is the fact that he had the Heisman winner and Jalen Waddle on his team. And the best offensive line that Alabama's ever had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Tyler, you are up. We've gotten through like the big names, so we're going to pick up the pace a little bit here and just trying to, get these picks in. So who you got next?
Man, I was looking forward for the next several picks, trying to finding reasons to pick Mac Jones, be like, hey, Kyler Murray, he's not, he's very mobile, but sometimes, I think we should normalize, like what the Dolphins were doing last year, having starters and closers for quarterbacks in games. Like get Mac Jones in there.
Yeah, Tyler, stay out of the pocket. I ended that for a reason.
I know.
Let's keep it going. I ended that for a reason.
And then have when the defense is tired, put Kyler Murray into the end of the game. One, he's better, but two, he's just going to run around him and tire out the defense. And you stole that from me. And then I was looking forward to pick 18 when I was going to get to absolutely.
Yeah, really? Were you going to do that? Yeah,
I was going to do that. I guess I have to be reasonable now.
Yeah, you want to end this podcast by suggesting Mac Jones to the Dolphins? Is that what you were going to do?
Not in this universe. Not anymore.
Not in this friendship.
The Cardinals are taking Mike Parsons has slid pretty far. Talented. I think that of the teams that would give him a shot, Cardinals probably would be one of them.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Yeah. So okay. That's where I'm taking.
Right, so he's
not as flashy as drafting Mac Jones to be the starter closer combo of Mac Jones and Kyler Murray, but. What are we going to do?
I'm cutting you off.
It's been a long week, man.
It's been a week. It's been such a long week that you're out here actively trying to convince yourself that Mac Jones could go to any number of teams after he's already.
It's a fun exercise.
It's not very fun when you mock it to the Dolphins.
I think it's.
That's when it starts. That's when it stops being fun, Tyler. When you do it to my team.
I'm so happy that the Jaguars are the first overall pick and don't have to be a part of this drama at all. It saved me so much stress.
You are the Michael Jackson popcorn meme, just eating it up.
It's yeah.
Next up, we have the Raiders at 17. It's really simple if the board plays out this way. They need to tackle Christian Darrisaw's on the board. Christian Darrisaw, welcome to Vegas. I hope you like gambling. Have at it, my friend.
All right. Dolphins are up. You took a wide receiver.
We did.
That is the thing that you did. You could always take another one, but I'm not going to do that. You did release literally every linebacker you had.
Literally.
So a little concerning.
A bit. I'm not going to lie. Although if there's ever a position group that I'm comfortable with letting go, it's the linebackers because of who Brian Flores is and his coaching ability.
I'm just not really in love with any of the edges on the board. I'm really just not. I'm not really in love with Jason Owe and Joe Tryon and Kwity Paye and Azeez Ojulari. I'm just not really So I'm going to go with Zaven Collins from Tulsa, linebacker from Tulsa. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure I did this last time too, but
And honestly, dream draft for me, if that's the case. If we can walk away with arguably the best linebacker in the country that played football, because Micah Parsons didn't play
football, correct,
in the country last year, and Jamar Chase. Great first round. Great birthday present the Dolphins will give me, so I'm happy with that. All right, next up we have the Washington football team.
Too bad it wasn't Mac Jones.
I'm ignoring that. We have the 19. We have the Washington football team. Team needs, we have tackle, linebacker, safety, corner. When you look at the best players available, we're starting to get into this. Guys could slip to the second round and it would be okay. Some guys would be taken earlier that might be in the second round, but we still would be okay. Anything after pick 19 and 20 seems to be this kind of okay, we'll see what happens. And so because of that, I'm comfortable reaching a little bit for a team need. And in this case for Washington, it's offensive tackle, and I'll go with Tevin Jenkins out of Oklahoma State. He was actually really impressive.
Love me Tevin Jenkins.
He's a guy, I love me some Tevin Jenkins. He's a guy that, now here's a guy, No, but in all seriousness, throughout the season, watching him play, he was very mobile. He was very much able to keep everything in front of him. And he's a guy that I thought would get a bit more hype in the Senior Bowl and then in these, like, workouts and all this stuff. And he just hasn't. And I don't understand why. So for Washington to get him at 19, it's a pick that the Washington fans are going to be like, okay, we get it. It's not flashy. But honestly, Ron Rivera is a good team builder and is a good guy in that organization and has been a good voice for them in terms of player development and everything. And he's got a good track record in drafting. So I'll trust that organization. I'll trust that organizational structure, and I'll send him over to Washington.
Okay. So next up, the Chicago Bears. Now I know we joked
how does
before.
Mac Jones?
They actually would take Mac Jones if he was here.
Like, they actually would, though.
Like, they would. I'm not even joking about that one. Like, hey, I could always have Kyle Trask go a little early, but that I doubt that's going to happen. There have been reports that Kyle Trask somebody might trade back into the first round for Kyle Trask, which means I don't know who that would be.
Neither would I.
Like, I'm not really quite sure it to be, but so I'm not going to do that, even though they need a quarterback. But it's Chicago.
Can I give you a Kyle Trask stat since you mentioned him?
Go ahead.
Did you know that he was the most accurate quarterback in the country last year?
I did not know that for a fact, but
it is a fact.
But
and granted, when you take away Kadarius Toney and Kyle Pitts, when you look at the splits when they're on the field versus when they're off the field, the numbers go significantly down. But still, he was the most accurate quarterback. Like, it was funny when there was someone who tweeted about a month and a half, 2 months ago, like a highlight video of Kyle Pitts. And it was like, wow, look at how he gets the ball, whatever. And I think it was Gator great Richard Johnson quoted it and was like, tired, Kyle Pitts is really good. Wired, Kyle Trask is really accurate. And it was really true. If you go back and watch that, Trask was putting the ball in locations that not many people can. And it was very much I can see why Mullen entrusted the offense with him and didn't give a run out to Emory so soon. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
that was it. Just wanted a little. You mentioned Trask. Wanted to give you a little fun fact.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm not taking Kyle Trask, but I am going to take Alex Leatherwood, the offensive tackle at Alabama.
We both
for
love
Chicago.
Him. We both love him.
He's good. He's good. He's Alabama product. He's good.
Yeah.
He's got a great name. Alex Leatherwood. Like, how more perfect can you get?
He sounds like he's just going to run you into the ground as an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
So, all right, I got the Colts with the next pick. This isn't a difficult pick here. Their number one need is tackle, but given the little runoff on tackles that we've had here, their secondary need is corner, and Caleb Farley is still on the board. I understand that he has that injury issue, but I really do believe that he's going to come back healthy. He looked fantastic at Virginia Tech over the past 2-3 years. So Caleb Farley, welcome to Indianapolis. I'm going to send him there.
I don't like it.
As a Jags fan, you don't like it?
I don't like it. Yes, I don't like it.
Okay.
Now, Tennessee.
So I know Mac Jones
Ryan
is off the
Tannehill's
board.
Only
but...
so good. I mean, I would like it as a Jags fan for it to be for years of Mac Jones versus Trevor Lawrence.
So Mac Jones's family's going to listen to this podcast, and we're going to get sued for defamation of character.
Yeah, I don't care. Buck Foles, that's what you get. You're coming up against a Bishop Kenny product. I am programmed to hate Bulls products. It's just weird, actually, because one of my best friends likely went there. It doesn't matter. Titans are furious you took Caleb Farley.
They are. Furious. They're very mad I took Caleb Farley.
So, in retaliation, they're gonna pick someone who's gonna, absolutely moss and destroy Caleb Farley for the next several years. They're going to take Rashad Bateman.
Nice.
Got to retaliate.
Nice. I love that pick. That's fun. That is a fun pick. Because the play action.
You, maybe.
Well, because it's just fun as a football fan because the play action is fantastic. That's going to be so good. Oh, man. Good. Wow. Sorry. I know that's, Titans and all that personal, but sorry.
I made the pick. I don't know what I'm complaining about. Like,
So, pick 23, the Jets. Now, I know that they just took Zach Wilson, but I think I'm playing. Let me
you
see.
joke, but
you joke.
it's the classic, like, pick two quarterbacks. One of them's got to work out, which is stupid because then you're like splitting reps, and neither quarterback can be as prepared or as good as he could as you want him to be. So maybe just evaluate and have conviction in your decisions, but also pick Mac Jones.
If you always pick a quarterback, one of them is bound to work. Okay, so the team needs here corner. Quarterback's been addressed. Corner and edge. I'm looking at the board here. Corner seems to be a bit weak or dry. Greg Newsome seems to be the next best available corner, and I don't really think they want to jump the gun on there. Eric Stokes, who's a round 2 type of guy. So I'm going to go ahead and go around best player available type. And we do have a good collection of edge players here. Joe Tyron, Aziz, Kwity Paye. And I'm going to go with that last one. I'm going to go with Kwity Paye to the Jets here at 23. He's actually predicted as the 23 best player available, so a little bit of synergy there. I think that he can help them along the edge. And, the Jets have so many holes that best player available isn't really a bad thing to do.
They are bad.
They are a bad football team at the moment, and so I don't really mind if I'm the Jets organization.
Didn't that just make you happy?
Absolutely not. Oh, I'm happy the Jets are bad. I'm not happy that they're getting a good player like Kwity Paye. To be clear.
Oh well, yeah. Well, it's like me giving the Titans Rashad Bateman. Like,
exactly,
why would I do that?
Why would you do that?
All right, the Pittsburgh Steelers are bringing Big Ben back to run 25 jet sweeps a game because Matt Canada is the new offensive coordinator.
So because they're bringing back Big Ben, they're going to need a quarterback to follow up in the future.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and you need someone, Big Ben, a guy who's fabled for his howitzer of an arm and the ability to like make stuff happen with mobility when he's at his prime.
Right.
You need someone like Mac Jones.
You do need someone like Mac Jones.
Great. Mac Jones is going to force an Eli and Phillip Rivers like level trade
to go to Pittsburgh.
Yes, that's what's going to happen. No. Let's see. You gotta. Interesting. Yep. Steelers. You got Joe Hayden is there as your corner. You need a little bit of an improvement. You need to improve that room. Mm-hmm. He's not bad. It's just like he's at the very late in his development.
And he's had injury.
And he's late in his career. He's late in his career is what I meant to say. Why do my words are hard? Anyway, so I think in that case you need a corner. Could you go Greg Newsome? But I'm going to go Eric Stokes from Georgia.
Okay.
I feel like he fits them a little bit better.
Yeah, I see him as a day 2 pick, but this is the area where you can kind of reach a little bit depending on what you need, all that stuff. So I don't mind that pick. I have your Jags at 25, and it would go well with Trevor Lawrence, Tyler, an experienced backup that knows the landscape of the city of Jacksonville very well. You're not happy about that one? No? You created this. I want you to know. You created this monster.
Nope. This is definitely my fault. This is definitely my fault.
It's not fun when it's your team now.
I was fine until this moment. I was fine until this moment.
I think this is the moment the bit dies.
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut from now on.
Okay, so your Jags. Listen,
I forgot that we had a second pick.
Yeah, right.
I forgot that this would be a thing that would happen.
Your Jags, no offense, are a bad football team at the moment. But they are not a team devoid of talent.
It's not offensive at all. That's just true.
Yeah. They are not a team devoid of talent. And bad football teams need as much talent as they can. With that being said, this is not in terms of your immediate needs, but it would be nice to have this player on your football team. And for that reason, I'm gifting to you. Your best friend, Sergio, is gifting to you, Tyler, Christian Barmore from Alabama.
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
If he's there, I think you just go best player available. You're building for the
Let's
future
go.
anyway. Have a great pair him up with the good Josh Allen and all that stuff. It'll be fun.
I'm so happy. Let's build through the trenches, baby. We're gonna dominate.
There you go.
We're not gonna be good for a while, but
We're
my
gonna
favorite thing with the Jaguars.
We're gonna dominate in 4 years.
My favorite thing with the Jaguars is that everybody seems to be like, "Oh, you guys are gonna be good now," and I'm just like, I have heard this song before. Like, I feel like we have a real chance to be good long term, but like people are gonna buy into next season when we win like 1 or 2 games, and I am just gonna be ready for that other shoe to drop. We're still the youngest roster in the league, like
with a first-time NFL coach.
Yeah, no. Anyway, but Christian Barmore is going to help with that a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Oh yeah, it's my turn. Sorry, I was trying to find a way to get the Mac Jones to Cleveland.
No, that's dead.
I see. It's dead. See, the thing is, I was leaving time for where I would be making that bit, but then my brain was just like blanking. What do I talk about? Like, all right, Cleveland Browns, #1 priority. Build up your edge. I mean, don't have that many available. I'm not a huge fan of all these edge players. It's just not a great edge class. Like,
agreed.
So who else is available? Real quick, let me look.
Go ahead.
Also need some wide receivers. Need some interior defensive line. Christian Barmore was out of your range, so too freaking bad. I just had it. 1 second. Yeah. Let's go with. You need interior defensive line. Let's go with Levi on Wuzurike from Washington.
Okay. Seems a bit like
They lost their best interior defensive line. They're not waiting again to lose another one. Like, let's go.
Okay.
I don't think they will make this pick, but it is a matter of like I just am not a huge fan of all the edges that are left.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm really just not like.
All right. Next up, we have the Ravens. And this is fun right here. I'm gonna go wide receiver, get Lamar some weapons, but I'm not gonna go with Kadarius Toney because I still am the believer that the speed threat.
No.
Well, I still am a believer that the speed threat can be Hollywood Brown. Which also for me rules out Rondale Moore, as we know. I'm gonna do it, even though my plan was to get this player in the second round with our second pick, which hopefully can happen. I don't think he's going to last there, so forget it. Let's just go with it now. Elijah Moore.
I knew it. I freaking knew it.
Man of Egg Bowl fame, of the Ole Piss. Welcome to Baltimore. I'm going to send him to
freaking knew you'd do this.
Really? You did? You thought?
Yeah.
With the Ravens? Yeah.
I 100%. Like,
yeah, for sure.
I was just like, he's going to pick Elijah Moore because that's who you love. And
I do. I think he's going to be a fantastic NFL
decision.
wide receiver.
Like, yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. All right, next up, the Saints. Again, not a huge fan of the cornerback room. They need wide receivers. We could go get Kadarius Toney, but not going to do that. Going to switch things up a little bit. Going to go with Terrace Marshall out of LSU.
So he was my other option in my head instead of Elijah Moore, and I think
he's physically a lot bigger. So
he is a bigger wide receiver, but I just think Elijah Moore has really good route running, and I think he can emerge as a as a probably NFL-wise #2 target in that sense. But
yeah, I don't think Elijah Moore has the body type to be able to be #1.
No, but I like him a lot, so that's why I sent him to Lamar. But this is a great pick for that, and that's why I almost picked Terrace Marshall. But it is what it is. Good pick there. 29, the Green Bay Packers. Okay, so the Mac Jones joke, but like they literally did this last year with Jordan Love. So it's like we're joking about
and
Mac
guess
Jones.
What?
That
was one of those things where, like, we talked about earlier about how sometimes things can end up being bad picks, but they were the right choice.
Yes.
Like, given what you knew.
Yeah.
Like last year, the Packers did the opposite. They made the wrong choice, but like I think maybe ended up making the right pick in the sense that, like, I think a good pick in the sense that I heard one person say that, like, even if Jordan Love never plays, if he got Aaron Rodgers to play better because they drafted a quarterback, it could be worth it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I subscribe to that, but it's interesting to think about. more than again, everything the Jordan Love thing just reminds me of is that the Packers draft weirdly.
They do.
Like,
They're an interesting situation, and because of that, I'm going to go with a guy that I watched a lot because I watched this team a lot last season and over the past couple of years. They need an offensive tackle, but offensive tackles I'm not too thrilled on right now, with the exception of Samuel Kosimi. I'm
Crosby.
actually gonna Kosmi, sorry. I'm actually gonna go with someone that I think will be a bit more of a long term stay, in my opinion, in the league. I'm gonna go with a guy that I really like. That I think if any team, I think literally any team can draft this guy and he'll be successful. I think he's that good. I'm gonna go with Creed Humphrey out of Oklahoma, the interior lineman.
Yeah.
It's not a tackle per
Look at
se.
you picking an Oklahoma guy.
Well, he's a good player. What do you want me to
Big
do?
shocker.
Okay, he's a
He's
big
a good
boy.
player.
He's a good player. I almost went with Landon Dickerson because he plays all 5 positions and we've seen it. But I think Creed Humphreys plays his interior positions better than
The versatility that Landon Dickerson provides.
Exactly. Took the words out of my mouth. Exactly. Perfect. So that's why I went with him. And I think it's a very Packers move. Like, could we have given Aaron Rodgers Rondale Moore? Could we have given Aaron Rodgers Kadarius Toney? Yeah, but we're not the GMs. So this is what we think they're going to do. So there you go.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
All right, Buffalo Bills at 30. I'm going to give them maybe some edge help. Well, actually, you know what? I'm going to be fun.
Oh.
I'm going to give the Bills Kadarius Toney.
Wow. Okay.
I just want to see what that would be like. Josh Allen throwing to Kadarius Toney.
So you want me to have tons of anxiety twice, and the way that the Dolphins and the Bills are looking up, maybe 3 times a year with the playoffs. You just want me to have anxiety, is what you want.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, so you want
Look,
Stephon
you're going to
Diggs.
find a way. Sergio, you live to have anxiety in your life during football season.
I do.
And if it doesn't provide itself there, you're going to find something to be anxious about.
You're
so
right.
I want your teams to just be good so you can just be anxious and it be normal.
I appreciate this respect, this love and care that you've given for me. I appreciate that. That leaves me with the Kansas City Chiefs. This team do be good. This team do be fun. But God, do they need offensive linemen.
Yep.
And for that reason, I'm going to give them Samuel Kosmi. I think he fell down enough. I think he's good there. Again, was flirting with Landon Dickerson simply because I think he's good and will play all 5 positions. But Kosmi has proved at Texas that he can be really good. So I'll take him there.
It's true. All right. The Super Bowl champions.
What do you do when you win a championship and you return all of your players?
Literally everyone.
Mm-hmm.
You even re-signed Leonard Fournette, which, is a choice that you made.
Is a decision.
So good for you.
It was a decision.
It's a decision. Well, now I'm torn because Najee Harris is there.
Stop! Don't do that! Don't do that! Don't do that!
Nah, I'm not gonna do that. But I'm not gonna do. Well, no. Well, I'm full kombucha girling.
I was gonna say, okay, kombucha girl.
I'm Big Ten connection, offense, fun. Rondale Moore goes to our good friend Tyler Renfro's team.
All right.
And he is forever happy because Rondale Moore was his fantasy college football player, like his flagship one.
Yeah, he loved him. He loved him. That is true. All right. I like the pick. I like the draft. Just to recap here, the 32 picks are the Jags at 1 take Trevor Lawrence. The Jets are going to take Wilson. The 49ers take Trey Lance. The Falcons take Fields. The Bengals take Penei Sewell. Dolphins take Jamar Chase. The Lions take Rashawn Slater. The Panthers take Kyle Pitts. The Broncos take J.C. Horn. Cowboys take Patrick Surtain II. The Giants take Jalen Waddle. The Eagles take Devontae Smith. The Chargers take Jalen Phillips. The Vikings take Elijah Vera Tucker. The Patriots take Matt McCorkle-Jones. Arizona Cardinals take Micah Parsons. The Raiders take Christian Darrisaw. The Dolphins take Zaven Collins.
Could have been
The
McCorkle.
Washington football team take Tevin Jenkins. The Chicago Bears take Alex Leatherwood. The Colts take Caleb Farley. Titans, Rashad Bateman. Jets, Kwity Paye. Steelers, Eric Stokes. Jags, Christian Barmore. Browns, Levi Onwuzurike. Thank you.
Onwuzurike.
Thank you. The Ravens take Elijah Moore. The Saints take Terrence Marshall Jr. The Packers take Creed Humphrey. The Bills take Kadarius Toney. Chiefs, Samuel Cosmi. Bucks, Rondale Moore. That is mock draft 4.0.
You imagine the Bucks with Rondale Moore?
I don't want to.
You just imagine the Bucks with Rondale Moore.
I don't want to.
I kind of do.
No, you don't.
But I do.
Oh, boy. Tyler,
okay.
let's...
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna move us on. Let's end this episode.
We should do a mock draft where what would happen for every team to draft Mac Jones. Just see what would that look like? Why? Like what reality would have to exist for every team to draft it? You are so done with me right now.
I am. I really am done with you. That's it for the mock draft. Tyler, let's wrap this episode up with tweets that we have shared. Tyler, what's your favorite tweet that I have shared with you this week?
All right, it's 2 tweets that you shared. They're the same thing. They're in a thread. It is from @Kofi, go by the Big Chillin'.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, just got my Super League merch. It'll go well with my AAF shirt. This is in reference, of course, to the Euro Super League, which was a soccer... it was a decision by a lot of the soccer... Sergio could probably explain it better than me, but it lasted for about a couple days.
It was about 36 hours.
36 hours.
All right, listen.
It died as it lived.
In a nutshell, because we're both tired. The European Super League was an attempt by 12 teams, 6 of them in England, 7 of them in England, sorry. A lot of them, across Europe. Basically the richest teams. They were going to break away and form a European Super League where they would play midweek games while also staying in their domestic league. So they would still play the domestic leagues, the domestic cups. They also still wanted to continue playing in the Champions League. So when this happened, UEFA and the Champions League themselves said, no, you can't do this. The leagues themselves said, no, you can't do this. And there was a big uprising across all of Europe and actually across the globe as to why this would be bad for soccer. I am vehemently against it. I think it would, in the long run, actually kill the sport of soccer because when you take out those teams, right, if those teams said that they wanted to make a Super League, they would be taken out. Then when they're taken out, the leagues themselves would say, fine, you can't be here. So that way when TV contracts come up later on, then it would be much more difficult for those leagues to get the big-time TV money because that Super League would be cutting their own TV deal and they would get all the money. So when that happens, that takes away money from the soccer pyramid in those countries. Why is that important? The top-level teams are not going to be affected. The top-level teams are going to be fine. The problem is going to be in the third and fourth and the amateur and semi-pro levels. You're going to have a lot of teams that they depend on, the way the structure is, the money trickling down and being given out to member associations of their footballing associations. So when you do that, teams are going to fold. We already have a record number of clubs folding because of the coronavirus pandemic. On top of that, in the next 5 to 10 years, you would see clubs dying out. There are over 100 teams in the English pyramid alone. I personally would anticipate somewhere between 30 to 50% of those teams to fold, simply because the amount of money that they have become accustomed to because of the Premier League, because of the top leagues, would be cut out and they would lose a lot of it. And so therefore, that wouldn't be healthy for the sport as a whole. Less teams means less players, less fans, less economy, less gear. All of this stuff would have less interest. It would have a ramification both in terms of the sporting public and financially. So that's a big problem. On top of that, you would also have this new Super League would include 15 charter members and then 5 other teams to make a 20-team league, and those extra 5 would be the ones that would be relegated and promoted up and down. But those original 15 would basically be locked in for life, similar to how sports operate in the United States, where the NBA and the NFL and baseball, hockey, MLS, these leagues have you buy into it as a franchise rather than being a club that people create, right? That's the big difference. The sporting culture in Europe requires this competitiveness in promotion and relegation. So if those 15 teams would be exempt from being relegated, there wouldn't be that much incentive, and the fans were outraged by that, at least the fans in Europe, in the United States as well. So that's the big thing why it blew up. That's why it was short-lived. Fans came out in record numbers and were vehemently against it, to the point where all of these Premier League owners came out and said, we apologize, we are sorry. And so that's what happened. I literally was immobilized on Monday. I did an hour-long kind of conversation about it that you can find on my Twitter, the Sideline Judgement account. Retweeted it. It was organized by a friend of mine who his radio show at school here is called the Mac and Main Show. You can find it on their Twitter account. We had a nice hour. His name is Stephen McAvoy, and the other guy's name is Jack Main. So it's Mac and Main. It's cool. It's cool.
Mac and Jay.
I hate this. Stop it. Stop it.
Mac Jones.
So that was.
I'm really tired, guys.
Oh yeah. That was the Super League in a nutshell. It was bad in terms of soccer. And literally there was not a single person. I lied. I know one person that was in favor of it, but literally everyone else was against it. Just wasn't a good show. It was a bunch of rich owners saying, we want more money. And they basically did that. So it was disgraceful. It was embarrassing. And yeah, it's dead now. So I hope it doesn't come back up.
Well, as they say.
And to the journalists who are saying, well, what if we had a Super League in college football? What would that look like? Stop. We're not entertaining this idea, okay? There's also an argument to be made that in terms of exclusivity, college football is already
we kind of have that.
We kind of have that because, quote unquote, any team in the FBS can make the playoff, which we all know that's a lie. It's not realistic. So it's kind of this like we all choose to believe that it's true, even though it's not. Expand the playoff, but that's just me personally.
Agreed.
So there you go. That's that on that. Thank you for bringing that tweet to our attention, Tyler.
I thought it was funny because the AAF also died very quickly.
Oh,
AAF actually outlived the Super League.
The AAF actually played.
People
games.
liked it.
Actually played games. So yeah.
Yep.
All right. So personally, my tweet that you have shared, it's actually shared by. I have a couple tweets that we'll run through real quick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, our show, we make the rules, whatever. One of them is shared by a friend of the pod, Michael Phillips. Yesterday was April 20th, 420. And while some people choose to remember that day for one reason, the Gator Nation remembers it as the head ball coach's birthday. Happy birthday, belated, Steve Spurrier. Steve. We love you, our guy. Did you know that Steve Spurrier is governor of both Tennessee and Georgia?
It's kind of hard to do.
It's really hard to do. But he holds both titles at the same time. So, another tweet that has been shared with me that I really enjoy is one by Field Yates, was shared by you, Tyler. It is longtime Steelers great Hines Ward is joining the Florida Atlantic coaching staff. Ward spent the past 2 seasons as an offensive assistant with the Jets. Great to see an NFL veteran presence joining the FAU staff. Big fan of that. And then Tyler, my last tweet that was shared with me, it has to be the Ted Lasso season 2 trailer.
Oh, heck yes!
It is. I'm so ready. I'm ready. My body, spirit, soul, and
that show had no right to be that good.
No business being that good.
That show has no right to be that good.
I hope that this show is just as good as it was in season 1. I really do.
Well,
so
it's one of those things that I always worry about is that like, oh, you watch season 1, I'm like, I love all these characters, and I'm like, yeah, but I get the feeling that like just the way that the shows go, shows often when you watch them, they just forget about characters.
Yeah, they do.
Like side characters, like minor characters that you'll like them, and then they just won't appear in the next season. You'll be like, you won't notice it because their stories are kind of done, and then they'll just never show back up again. But I think I saw every minor character that was important to me in that trailer.
Yeah,
and that was really comforting. And I'm just like, I hope we can. And it looks like the budget increased. Mm-hmm. Danny Rojas is still in it.
Football is live. Football is live. Football is live. My favorite.
Show is so good.
Tyler, I walk around the house sometimes going, "Football is live." I do it to I do it to Alexa sometimes, and she's like, "Please stop." I'm like, "No, football is live."
Football is live. That's like my favorite line for that whole show. I know we had a whole Twitter exchange about this once, but like
we did.
My favorite line is still because it's such a perfect. It is also because it's such the perfect American versus like British thing. So when his boss is just like, well, like Manchester City's like asked about inquired about terminating Jamie's loan, and Jason Sudeikis goes, "They gonna take his house?" It's like. I talk to the sun. You talk to God?
That's one of my favorites. You talk to the sun. You talk to God? No, I talked to the owner of the Sun. That's what it was. The newspaper. I talked to the owner of the Sun. You talk to God?
Talk to God?
No, my favorite is when Ted Lasso comes into the office and what's her name? What's the boss's name? I'm forgetting her name.
It's like Angela or something.
Anyway,
it's the Shame lady from Game of Thrones. Like
that's her.
That's the same actress
who plays
Shame. That's the same actress
who plays the boss in
yep.
Ted Lasso. I got to do some research. I didn't know that. Anyway,
yep.
But
it's shocking. Like
right, but Higgins is there, and it's like, oh, this and that, whatever. He's like, oh no, Higgins, nah, we're actually gonna have some salads for lunch today. It's gonna be great, and all that. And they walk away, and Higgins goes, "I'll Caesar you later." And Ted Lasso's already out of the door, and he comes back in, and he slams the door. Yes. Yes, and that to me is the moment in the show where Ted Lasso wins over like the entire organization, because once Higgins is making those jokes, all right, we're good, we're in.
Yeah, we highly recommend everyone watch the show. Season 1 is so good; it is going to make you feel all the emotions in all the right ways. And it's why I love sports. And like, I even got my roommate who doesn't like sports.
Well, here's the thing:
watch it.
It's a sports show. It's a soccer show that's nothing about soccer.
Yeah, not really. Like if you like sports, you will appreciate it more.
Yeah.
But like my roommate doesn't care anything about sports, but he loved the show because you don't need to know anything.
Correct. Like I watched it. So I watched it. The episodes came out in the fall, week by week, and I actually didn't watch it because I don't have Apple TV Plus. It's on Apple TV Plus for those wondering. And so I waited. I went home for Thanksgiving, and my mom, Earl, and Diego were like, "All right, we're watching it all." They're like, I was like, "Oh, but you guys already saw it." They're like, "We'll watch it again," and I was like, "Okay." And I finally understood why. So we watched the entire thing in one afternoon. It's only 10, 30-minute episodes. So it's 5 hours.
Yeah, it's pretty short.
Just go watch it. We did that. And then Alexa, I want to say about a month and a half ago, 2 months, I was like, have you ever seen – we watched the Billie Eilish documentary on Apple TV+. And she hasn't. I was like, have you ever seen Ted Lasso? She was like, no. I go, all right. I want you to watch one episode with me. And if you don't like it, you don't have to watch it. But just give it 30 minutes. She goes, okay, cool. We watched it. We watched all 10 episodes again. So I saw it a second time all the way through. And then Alexa's roommate came back and she was like, hey, this show's really good. We're watching it. And I saw it again in 5 hours. Well, that time was split like 2.5 and 2.5. But I've seen this season 1 3 times already. It is
jeez. I'm so excited for season 2.
It's so good. We won't spoil what happens at the end of season 1.
It's amazing. I love the end of season 1.
Great show. Best show of the year last year.
I agree.
Really enjoyable. So there you go.
That's our little end of sports bit.
It is.
It'll make you happy, so you should do it.
Very, very much, much needed Ted Lasso news on the weekend where soccer literally almost died. So
Ted Lasso brought it back.
Ted Lasso brought it back. Oh my gosh! Make sure just gotta have the memory of a goldfish. Gotta have the memory of a goldfish.
Memory of a goldfish.
Tyler, that's it for the episode. Next week, we'll be back with good friend of the pod, Michael Phillips. We will be doing a final mock draft. That episode will be published on draft day. So in the anticipation for draft day, you can listen to our final mock draft. We may include trades. We'll see what happens. It'll be a wild one.
We'll see.
It'll be a fun one.
There may have been trades by the time that it happens.
Who knows? And
who knows?
Michael will most definitely be on, and he will have some fantastic insight as always. This has been another episode of Sideline Judgement. My name is Sergio.
My name is Tyler.
We are not biased, Tyler, but Go Gators.
Go Gators.